Chef Buck here, and today we're going to turn this rutabaga into some very tasty hash browns. Now you can use a rutabaga like a potato, but it's from the cabbage family. Looks like a turnip, but it's more yellow than white, and it's not as tart as a turnip. You know, when you buy one of these, I'm afraid I gotta be careful. We're house sitting. I don't want to damage the house too much. But when you buy one of these,
wait, did you already do that?
So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lop off kind of the end of this, boom, and then I'm going to cut off.
This is worse than spaghetti squash.
I'm telling you, man, this knife, that's about all I'm going to use for this recipe. That's going to be plenty. So I've cut off the end, and now I'm going to just slice off the skin. You can use a peeler if you like, but I don't find that very appealing. So there we've got a nice peeled piece of rutabaga, and I'm just going to go ahead and shred it up. La 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 la. And even though that wasn't a big piece of rutabaga, you see we've got lots of shreds there. You know, this is going to be plenty for me and Camera Girl for breakfast.
What can you do with the rest of the rutabaga?
One of our favorite things to do is kind of roast it up, put it in a pan, toss it with some oil and seasoning. Roast it with some parsnips, some carrots, some sweet potatoes, some onions, stuff like that. I'll put a link to that recipe. This is what Camera Girl did. She made a soup with rutabaga. You can't really see it, but there's rutabaga in there. So anything you can do with a potato, you can do with a rutabaga. And a rutabaga is healthier. So now we got our rutabaga all shredded up. Now we want to get some of the water out of here because this is a very wet ingredient. So for a hash brown, since we want to fry it up, we want to get some of the water out. So I'm going to put a little bit of salt in there, mix it up. And that salt is going to help to draw the water out of the rutabaga, and then we'll squeeze as much of that water out of there as we can. And then we'll set this aside and we'll let this do its magic while we get the other ingredients ready. So now our rutabaga has been sitting here for about 5 minutes, you know, with this salt on it. And it feels even wetter now. Let me get a nice fistful of it. See how much water is going to come out of here?
Mmm, delicioso.
That'll give us a lot drier rutabaga to make our hash browns with. So there's our semi-dried out rutabaga, or drier rutabaga. You know, it's still pretty wet, but it's just not as sopping as it was before. And we're not going to add any more salt to the recipe since we've already got some salt in there. And I'm going to throw in 1 egg. And I got a little bit of a hot pepper, just some chopped jalapeno. Add a little bit of heat, a little bit of crunch, a little bit of color, and some green onion bottoms, and I'm going to save the tops for later on in the recipe. And then a bunch of seasoning. You know, use whatever kind of seasoning you like. This is just an assortment of my favorites, you know, depending on how you like your hash browns. Now we're just going to get everything mixed up. You know, and if you wanted to, you could just do it with the rutabaga, just the rutabaga and a little seasoning. You don't have to put this onion and pepper in here. But I kind of like fancy hash browns. In fact, we're going to put a little bit of cheese in here later too. So get everything mixed up really well. Now we're ready to take it over to the stovetop. So I got a little bit of oil heated up. I'm just going to toss my rutabaga shreds in here. And I've got it on medium low, because we don't want to cook this too fast. So I'm just going to go ahead and spread it out. The thing with hash browns is you want to give it a little bit of time to cook up. We'll go ahead and leave them alone, let them get a little bit of color on that one side before we turn them over. It's already got a little bit of color because we're using smoked paprika and chipotle on there. Alrighty, after a few minutes, just give them a little bit of a stir. Mix them up and spread them out again. That way we can get a little bit of color all around. And then we'll just leave them alone for a few more minutes. So I probably had them cooking for about 10 minutes altogether. That's all you want to do is just give them a stir, let them sit for a few minutes. Give them a stir and let them sit for a few minutes until it gets to the color you like. So we got a little bit of browning on there. So now I'm going to go ahead and throw in my green onion tops and a little bit of cheese. And the cheese is optional. You can use whatever kind of cheese you like. And I'm not going to put a lot in here. Just enough to make it decadent. And I'm going to turn the heat off. I'll stir it around, get everything mixed up, and that's it. These hash browns are ready. Woohoo! That's all there is to it. Super easy peasy. Don't these rutabaga hash browns look fantastic? Now all I got to do is cook up some eggs. We'll be ready for breakfast. Alrighty, there you have it. Rutabaga hash browns. Go ahead and give it a taste test, Camera Girl. Yeah. Look at that. You made scrambled eggs to go on yours because you're a savage. But if you knew what you were doing, then you would have had an over easy egg.
Oh, I like it. I think it has a great taste. It's more flavorful than potato because the rutabaga has more flavor.
And if you make an over easy egg, you know, to go on top, then you can have a little yolky sauce on there too. Just as a bonus. But there you have it. Super easy hash brown recipe with rutabaga. If you want to print this recipe, just go on over to myfoodchannel.com. Print all our recipes over there. You can subscribe over there, get on our mailing list, and then that way whenever we upload a recipe video, you'll get it on your inbox. You can subscribe here, you know, give it a thumbs up, like it. We appreciate all the comments, and we'll see you in the future.